Hello guys, Voltolon here, and welcome to Dark Lab, the series where we play baseball. Today, we're playing baseball. Baseball didn't really get any direct support as of late, but they did get some indirect support in the form of cards like Trade-in, Sacrificial Summon, and whatnot that we'll go over later on from the Mega Road pack. Firstly, let's go over the older cards that you might already be familiar with if you have played baseball in the past. Firstly, the uniform number 39 Junior Baseball King Home. This card's effect does not matter, it is not very good in the first place if you need to control the face-up Hot-Blooded Spirit Stadium to then send 2 face-up level 4 fire monsters from your field to the grave to gain 2500 attack until the end of the turn, but you can only attack with this card during the turn you activate the effect. Limits you to only a single 5k swing, and there are other more high impact plays that you can make in this deck that I believe are better to invest in compared to this, which needs you to both play a mediocre field spell. It also requires you to play some mediocre monsters alongside it to proc its effect reliably. The card that we actually care about is the uniform number 99 Junior Baseball King Dragon Home Grandra. What it starts is you can shuffle 3 fire monsters from your grave into the deck to special summon a uniform number 39 Junior Baseball King Home from your grave to your field face up. Then this card gains 2000 attack until the end of the turn. So this doesn't care about what levels the fire attribute monsters are. They just care that they are fire attributes, which allows us to play some more interesting fire attribute cards alongside it. And the end goal here is to get a 4k beat stick alongside 2500 attack beat stick to deal big damage that way. We are also pairing this up with Shock Dragon, which happens to be a fire attribute monster, so you can shuffle this back with the Grandra if you need to. What this does is you can send the top card of the deck to the grave, and then until the end of the turn, all face-up monsters with the highest attack on their opponent's field loses attack equal to the attack of the face-up monster with the highest attack on your field. Then this card can only attack with attack position monsters until the end of the turn. If you pair alongside the number 39, you get a debuff of 2500, which debuffs most main deck monsters to 0. Normally people pair this up with Secret Order to get a very easy body on the field alongside the Shock Dragon, so you don't need to set up the Shock Dragon to be able to do cool Shock Dragon plays by debuffing their whole board. You can also pair it up with uniform number 99. This allows you to debuff your opponent's field by 4000, assuming you get the full effect of the Grandra effect to shuffle and then special summon the number 39. So basically the end goal here is to deal big damage with your 4k beat stick alongside your big debuff and to kill that way. Notably, if you have Home Grandra, Home and Shock Dragon on the field, you can deal a total of 8100 damage, because there's 4000 plus 2500 plus 1600, which adds up to 8100. And this will kill if your opponent has an empty board, which either is where your opponent just didn't find any monsters to summon, or your opponent has a board full of monsters that you just debuff with Shock Dragon. So that's how your deck aims to kill. But if that isn't the situation that you find yourselves in, you can also use Sacrificial Summon. What this does is you can send a face-up monster with 1600 or more attack from your field to the grave, then you special summon an effect monster from your hand face up to your field. If you send an effect monster whose original level is 7 or higher to the grave to meet the requirement, the monster special summoned by the effect can make up to 2 attacks on monsters this turn. So your goal is to use this on Home Grandra to get a double swing with 4000 attack, which is certainly a lot of damage. Shock Dragon can still be sent off of this to get the double attack because it has exactly 1600 attack, which makes it viable to get that second part of the effect. Sometimes you also send the home that you get off the Grandra. The full dream is you go Grandra, special home, sack summon the home away for another Grandra, then you can get the home back with the other Grandra that you summon to get 3 4k swings and 1 2500 swing, which is a pretty good turn to have. But it doesn't come out that often. Sometimes you just don't have the cards to do the full Sacrificial Summon play, so I'm only playing 2 copies of it. But it is very good when it comes up. Sometimes you just use it to clear set monsters and basically make a fake Dryas of sorts. As for other cards in the deck, we are also playing 2 copies of Mezame, the Oni Commander. This is here to add the home to your hand. But now we are just adding a vanilla to our hand, but it is something you can use Sacrificial Summon on if you are desperate for that. And also just card advantage to discard for other effects in the deck. 3 Amazing Dealer, this is here to help us find our number 39. We do want it engraved for the Grandra as fast as possible, so having a way to dig through our deck for that card is very powerful. Also lets us dig through our deck for Grandras, Phoenix Dragons, Shock Dragons and whatnot. All are very strong cards in the deck. Speaking of finding number 39, we have the Strange Specter Celestial Severance, another new card from the Mega Road pack, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, then you can send one of the excavated cards to the grave, then shuffle the remaining cards into the deck. Basically allows you to Foolish Burial any of the top 3 cards from your deck, which helps you find your number 39 even faster, or even one of your dragons for Phoenix Dragon, which we are playing 3 of. We're playing 6 dragons here, so obviously we want to be able to find our dragons as easily as possible, and Phoenix Dragon is a very good way of doing so, and our main win cons are these dragon monsters, so Phoenix Dragon is even more useful here. We have some normal monsters here, 3 Jarmalewe, 3 Tainted Specter, 3 Stock Noodle Ninja. These are all Fire Attribute Noble Pyro monsters. Fire Attribute is obviously important for the Grandra, but specifically being Pyro Noble monsters is important for the 3 copies of Art of Saucery Noodle drawing out of which Tasty Favorite Reversal. This is a very powerful draw spell. What this does is you can send cards from your hand to the grave up to the number of Pyro Noble monsters in your grave, and draw cards equal to the number of cards sent to the grave by the requirement of the select deck. Then if you have a face-up Pyro Noble monster on your field, you can draw an additional card. Also, to really dig through your deck, if you have multiple of these Pyro monsters in your grave, I found that 8 is a fine number to have this alive enough, so I think that this is a pretty good package. It is a rather big package. This is 11 cards, can even go higher if you want more Pyro monsters. But there aren't really that many good fire monsters to run, in all honesty. Phoenix Dragon is one of the better ones already, and we are already maxing out on it. 3 copies of Sea Dragonite. You will notice that this deck doesn't have any other way to clear back row, and this is a very good way of doing it. And it is a monster, allows you to tribute over it, of course, by being a low level monster. And it is really good in the gate order by getting free value from popping their duplicate spells, because it probably will have a lot of duplicate spells being a very spell heavy deck. And it allows you to shuffle your cards like the Phoenix Dragons and then Grandra back if you somehow manage to run all of them completely. And overall, it's just very nice at scouting your opponent's back row. If your opponent has a Mirror Force, you can try to play around it by putting your number 39s in defense and whatnot. There are just a couple of really good things that this card can do for your game plan, and being an aggro deck, you do want some way to deal with back row, so this is a pretty good way of doing so. 3 copies of Trading, we haven't talked about this yet. This is basically Ship of 7 Treasures for level 8s, but a lot worse. You can send a level 8 monster with hand to the grave to draw 2 cards. Ship lets you discard any card, and then if you discard level 7, you can draw an additional card. This one needs you to specifically discard level 8, which is definitely more restrictive, and you will always draw those 2 cards. You do have 6 targets for it rather. You can consider playing more. I feel like this is enough. I've been considering cutting one of these just because sometimes it doesn't feel like you have enough targets for it. But I think overall it's fine. Might change after testing though. And 1 Mirror Force, this lets you keep tempo on the board and protect your big beat sticks. Overall, that's a very nice card. You can also consider Graceful, but I feel like with 6 draw spells, 3 draw monsters, and the 3 Strange Specters, I feel like we have enough ways to do the deck, so I don't need another way to do so. So Mirror Force is just like a good generic legend to play. Now that we've gone over the deck, let's head on over to some baseball. Our first match is against Sea Servants. They are playing with the new Water Draw spell that gets better if your opponent is playing level 7s, and we are playing a level 8 deck, so you can imagine how well that goes for our opponent. We are going to draw for turn a home Grandra, and we're going to tribute set it. There's no reason to get it in attack position because it does nothing, and we will set our 2 spells and pass the turn. They will draw for turn a Gardew, which does nothing as well. They will activate Umi and then set 3 monsters and pass the turn. We will draw for turn a pretty decent hand. We will go ahead and trade in, discarding the number 39 to draw 2 cards. Normal summoning in Jarmalewe, we do have a Paranormal in our grave, so we can use a Tainted Specter to discard 1 and draw 2 cards. Normal summoning the Celestial Severance to check the top 3 cards of the deck and send 1 of them to the grave. We'll send Tainted Specter. We will tribute summon the number 39, flip out the number 99, activate the effect of number 99 to shuffle 3 fires, and then special summon the number 39. And then we will go in and kill their 3 set monsters. We have the Shock Dragon and the Phoenix Dragon in hand. Overall, pretty good follow-up for future turns. This normal summon the Rhythmical Performer with the draw. Normal summon Sea Dragonite, tribute them both for Grandra, and then set their 2 cards in hand to kill our Grandra and pass the turn. We will draw for turn a number 39, which we will promptly discard for the Phoenix Dragon. Then we will tribute summon the Shock Dragon and normal summon Sea Dragonite, and then activate that effect to check the back row. And then we'll Shock Dragon and debuff the Grandra to 200 attack. Then tribute summon the Grandra to special summon the number 39 onto the field. And then get in for a large chunk of damage. If this Sea Dragonite that was set here was not here, we would have already won, but as it stands, we give them 1 extra turn to play with. Then we use the Dolphin's Treasure Chest to discard the Grandra to draw 1 card and top deck the Grand Extreme to special summon the Chachalot to shuffle our cards away, and then get the ability to debuff our Grandra to 1500 and normal summon the Sea Dragonite with the exact same stats to craft and do that. Then they will use the Chachalot to attack over our number 39. We will normal summon the Mezame that grabbed off the top. And then the Phoenix Dragon will discard that 39 back to the grave to add the Grandra. Then we will Tribute Summon the Shock Dragon and then Tribute Summon the Grandra, will get the number 39 onto the field and get in for a load of damage. If we had shuffled, if we had milled a fire attribute monster of the Shock Dragon, would have been able to keep an additional number 39 on the board, but as it stands, it's lethal anyway. In the second game, our opponent has opened 2 Grand Extremes, and we have opened Trade-In plus the number 39 already in rotation, so that's pretty good as well. Our opponent draws to summon another Grand Extreme target, activating both of the Grand Extremes to special summon their big bunguses onto the board and setting the Sea Dragonite and passing the turn. We will use Trade-In to discard the number 39. We have the Mezame in hand if we wanted to add it back anyway, but as it stands, we don't need to. We'll use the Celestial Severance to check the top 3 cards of the deck to find a pretty underwhelming top 3, and we'll send the Mezame to the grave as a result, tribute setting the Shock Dragon and setting the Fury Reversal and passing the turn. Then we use Dolphin's Treasure Chest to discard 1 water card and draw a card, and then they'll fire out the Vanishing Torrent that they drew off the top to kill the Fury Reversal that I had set. And they will try to attack my set monster, but it turns out it is the Shock Dragon that I had set for this exact situation, and they will pass a turn. We will draw for turn a pretty decent hand. Let's see what we get of the Celestial Severance. If we hit a Grandra, that would be pretty good, and we do indeed find a Grandra. Send that to the grave. Normal summoning Phoenix Dragon, discarding T Specter, adding that to the hand. Tribute summoning the number 39 to activate the effect of Shock Dragon to debuff the Chachalot and the Grandras to 0, and then it will tribute summon the Grandra, then shuffling 3 fires to special summon the number 39 for big damage. Again, if this Sea Dragonite was not here, we would have already won the game, but as it stands, we give them another extra turn. They will draw for turn a very underwhelming board, and they will pass the turn to us. We draw Sacrificial Summon and a 2-2 monster, although not the one that I would have expected. I would have activated Sacrificial Summon on, but it gives us the game anyway by giving us 4 attacks against their 3 defenders. Our second game is against WMAX. They have opened 1 maximum piece and a card reprint, and we have opened our number 39 very early. We start the turn by top decking the Jarmalewe, which is perfect as we needed the tribute follow for the number 39. We choose to set this faking a Shock Dragon in defense position, but it also plays on Secret Order by not giving us 700 damage for no reason, and also settle a Pegasus should we play against something like Gate Order. But we're not playing against Gate Order, as we later find out. We are playing against Maximum as they activate their Amazing Healer to discard their 3 non-card reprint cards and then draw 3 new cards. They will draw into 2 pieces of the Supreme Beast Magnum Overlord and set the card reprint and an additional monster and pass the turn. We will draw for turn a pretty good hand. We will trade in discarding the Grandra. We definitely do not need multiple copies of that. And then we will normal summon the Specter to discard our stock and draw a card, and we'll do the same with the second Fury Reversal that we had already. We will use Sea Dragonite to check the back row. It is the card reprint, so we think about that for a bit, and then we will normal summon the number 39 and I'll have to flip the other one up and activate Sacrificial Summoner on it. Special summoning the Grandra from our hand onto the field, and we will activate the number 99 to special summon the 39 onto the field before they concede, realizing that this is already lethal on board. 9,000 damage, by the way. In the second round, our opponent has found 2 of the maximum pieces in their opening hand, and we have found a number 39 and a Mirror Force. That Mirror Force is very unfortunate here as it is completely dead in this matchup, whereas in more normal matchups we would have been able to use it effectively. They have drawn another duplicate maximum piece. They just choose to set everything that isn't their 2 good maximum pieces and pass the turn. We will draw for turn a Shock Dragon, which is definitely very interesting. We will normal summon the Celestial Severance to mill off the top the Taste Specter into the grave, then we will tribute set the Shock Dragon. My thinking here is I did not want them to be able to activate things like the Picotron in case they had set a Femtron and go off the races that way, because that will leave them with only 1 monster, and Picotron need to have no other monsters, so this prevents them from using cards like those. They draw for turn their maximum piece that they were missing, so they can make the Worm Excavator and kill Mirror Force, set another card, and kill Shock Dragon, and pass the turn. We will draw for turn 2 Fairy Reversals, which is definitely very interesting. We will normal summon Jarmalewe and activate one of the Fairy Reversals, discarding number 39, draw 2 cards. Then we will do the same with the other Fairy Reversal, discarding the Sacrificial Summon, which finds us a Mezame. We will activate the effect of Mezame to add the number 39 back to our hand. Then normal summon the Celestial Severance to send the Grandra that we have found into the grave. Normal summoning the number 39, normal summoning the Sea Dragonite to check that they have the card reprint set. Then we will Shock Dragon to debuff the Worm Excavator to 1600. We can't attack with the Shock Dragon here because the card reprint would have made it kill our Shock Dragon, so we have to attack with our number 39 and crash once they activate the card reprint to draw 3 cards. And we will have to pass there without dealing any additional damage because of Shock Dragon's restriction. They will set them from Femtron and pass the turn. We will normal summon the Sea Dragon and activate the effect here to shuffle 2 cards and check that they have a Severance chance set. We will normal summon the Phoenix Dragon, activate the effect to send its Celestial Severance to the grave, and then add the Grandra, which will probably tribute summon, and then activate the effect of to special summon the number 39 to our field. Again, the reason why we kept the Tasty Specter was, in my mind, it was in case of the third Flare Reversal that I might top deck later on. Overall, it doesn't matter. We're gonna attack with all our guys here. They'll use the 7 chance and the mates give to draw 5 cards, and then they will take 6,500 attack worth of damage in one go. They will tribute summon the Peacock Picotron and draw some cards. Normal summon the Astron, draw more cards. Normal summon another Peacock, draw more cards, and they will find the Supreme Beast Magnum Overlord to maximum summon and attack over our Shock Dragon. We will draw for turn, trade in and Flare Reversal. We will normal summon the Tasty Specter and activate Flare Reversal, discarding the Trade in and the Sea Dragon Knight to draw a Phoenix Dragon and 2 normal monsters. We will activate Sacrificial Summon not to get additional attacks, but to be able to free up space for the Phoenix Dragon in our hand, so that we can use the effect of Phoenix Dragon to add the Shock Dragon back to hand after discarding Tasty Specter and tribute summoning a Shock Dragon, and activating the effect to debuff the Overlord to 2,500 attack, which is more than enough for us to activate number 99 and beat over his maximum for lethal. Now that we're back with the deck, that felt pretty promising. Firstly, the deck is extremely explosive, with the power of the 4,000 attack that the Grandra can reach, as well as the huge debuff that the Shock Dragon can provide, as well as the double attack that Sacrificial Summon can give to one of your high level targets, makes this deck's damage ceiling extremely high, given the right pieces. Now that is very important. It does need to find a couple pieces, obviously, as number 39 is a very crucial part of the deck, and it needs to be in the grave for you to resolve the best card in your deck. You need to find your Grandra, of course, you need to find your Shock Dragons and whatnot. Definitely a very numerous things that you want to be able to have access to be able to do your main game plan, which is why you're playing so many draw spells in the first place. One thing that it is also not good at is being complex. It is an extremely linear strategy. One game against this, or one game playing this, and you will immediately notice just how linear the strategy is. The only strategy here is to make big number and swing big. That is all the deck does, which can be to its detriment. Obviously, it's very easy to pick up as a result, but it is also very easy to play against. There is not that many surprises when playing against this deck. It just deals a lot of damage in a single turn. That's all you need to know about the deck. And there is also another already aggressive strategy in the format, that is Gate Order, and that is just seeing a lot more success in this, just by being a faster deck overall. And also that deck has access to trap protection, which this deck doesn't innately have access to. I have to play cards like Sea Dragon Knight, or if I want to more like back row removal, if I want to deal with things like Mirror Force more easily. Gate Order already does that by activating Secret Order a couple of times. This deck is just harder to deal with back row for this. One thing this deck has over Gate Order is that it is a level 8 centric deck, and that means that you are immune to things like Emptying Crisis, which targets specifically level 7. That card was specifically designed for countering Gate Order, and this deck is completely immune to that card, so you are definitely it's definitely like a cool rogue pick if you want to counter people playing specifically that card. And one last thing is that it's baseball. It's just baseball. It's a cool little theme that this deck has. I wish the in-theme cards were better. Outside of these two are great. Well, number 39 alone isn't very good, but number 99 very good. But I wish there were more in-theme cards that were actually good, and that I would feel comfortable putting here. Because as it stands, your fire attribute targets aren't very good at the moment. Phoenix Dragons and your Pyro Monsters are your best ones. And then past that, you have Chemical Cure Red and Stun Terror that don't really do that much outside of Mill 1, which is better than some other things I suppose, but still not very impressive. Overall, this deck is pretty simple to play, very explosive deck. If you like those kinds of aggressive beatdown strategies that are just all gas, you can definitely try this deck out. This is very fun to play around with, and definitely has a shot at being decent in the format. In any case, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.